Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mac. This is Kristen, and you are listening to the M&K Productions Podcast. A nice little intro. We switching it up today.
Yeah, I like it. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good. Thank you all for joining us again. The last episode was a great success. We had our good friend Jackie K. Cooper on. He's usually our yearly Oscar guy, but he came back on. We talked about Novocaine and how it's one of the sleeper hits of 2025. And today we're talking about a film that it may not be a sleeper hit, but it's got something for everyone today. And no, you said you weren't really you weren't big on it, but you know what? It touched me in a way that I didn't expect it to touch me, and
Hey, if
I'm
you
excited
liked
to.
it, that's what matters to me. So I'm happy to talk about it with you.
Yeah, so today on this
To be
episode,
fair, wait,
yep,
before you jump into it, I will say at least it's not Minecraft.
well, Minecraft is making money, so
I know that
only for you,
yeah.
but you can't make that anymore.
Like the thing is, this is better than watching Minecraft. Well, the movie we're going to speak about today. So
Yeah, so today we were blessed enough. Special thanks to Briar uh, Cliff Entertainment.
hmm
They sent us an early screening for the upcoming film Sneaks, which at the time of this recording will be in theaters April 18th, which stars Anthony Mackie, Lawrence Fishburne, Martin Lawrence as sentient sneakers, who are on a race to find Anthony Mackie's character Ty, to find his other half, his sister, voiced by Chloe Bailey. And we'll get more into the film today. We're going to talk about it and be able to, have fun with it. We're also going to go over some quick film news and give a sneak peek of what we got coming up. Kristen, before we get into the news, you got anything to add?
not really, but you went to something fun over the weekend.
Yeah, at the time of this recording last weekend, I went to AEW Wrestling. That's the other wrestling company that people don't know about, so that's kind of fun. I sat in the front row. If you see my Instagram, you saw the videos and photos with me. So it was a pretty fun weekend I had. My body was hurting, but still pretty fun. Check it out on Instagram if you haven't seen it.
Very cool. But I'm ready to talk some film news.
Yes, let's get right into the news.
This is CNN, a network of Turner Broadcasting System.
All right, so the news, we're going to keep it short with the news today. So I will go first with my news story. This is something I saw today that I thought would be interesting to talk to. So in our last Oscar episodes, we had no idea that Mikey Madison from Nora would go on to win Best Actress. So she's now a hot commodity ticket coming out of that film, which is well deserved. She's a very great actress. A lot of bright future coming along. But there was reports that Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling, they'll be doing a Star Wars movie soon. And it was reported that
hmm
Mikey Madison was going to star in the movie, but recently a news report, according to Screen Rant, saying that she is skipping out on the role and will pass on that.
Interesting. I wonder if she read the script and was like, no, I'm okay. Or maybe Star Wars is not in her future.
Um,
You
it,
know,
it says per Variety, Madison was offered a role in the Star Wars movie, but she ultimately passed. It was said she was in conversation for the movie before passing. Details about the potential role have not been revealed, and isn't yet clear who else might be in the conversation.
huh. Okay. I love Mikey now, so whatever she does next, audiences will be watching. A studio wants to hire her for like some kind of franchise, whether it be we see her in Star Wars or Marvel or DC. But I have a feeling at this point, since she did something, she did the Oscar role now. I think she wants to do something fun. I know she just had her fun on SNL,
Yep.
but I could see her working with somebody like James Gunn.
That'd be perfect. He could maybe put her in the DC, depending on
I
Superman.
could see her in that realm.
If DC, if this DC EU, I'm sorry, this new DC Studios, if Superman does well and it lets the franchise off on a good base, I'm assuming a lot of actors will want to join because they probably just waiting to see if Superman's going to either crash or burn. But that does make it interesting though, because with Star Wars, we're getting a new movie for the first time in like almost 6 years with Mandalorian and Grogu. And after
Mhm.
that, we're supposed to getting the Daisy Ridley back as Rey in another movie, and then we're getting the Taika Waititi movie, and then we're getting the Sean Levy
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling movie. So, what is going on with Star Wars? Are we excited to see more Star Wars in theaters, or do you think that the past couple of years, it being on streaming, has kind of not really helped it? Because we've had Mandalorian, which was still good, Boba Fett, which was a disappointment, Andor, which is actually wonderful. People need to watch that. The Acolyte, which was a disaster. I don't know why people want a season two. And then we have Skeleton Crew, which was fine, but nobody watched it.
Yeah, nobody really cared for that. So
No.
like I forgot that was even a thing. Then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that came out. And
Oh, sorry.
then
We had Ahsoka as well too. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. I forgot about those
oh
two.
yeah, Ahsoka, excuse
Ahsoka,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that one I think puts some hurt on the Star Wars brand at the moment. So people are just like, eh, but I think their hope will come back with Andor season two, because that one has a fan base and it did really well with
It's
critics and
good.
award. And yeah. So
And don't forget, Revenge of the Sith is coming back in the theaters in May.
yes.
It's 20th
Yeah.
anniversary.
I think they need to do a slow route, maybe like one or two projects a year at this point. I don't think we need to have all this stuff
Hmm.
jam-packed with all the TV shows where it's like that, because the TV shows, that's a lot. There's so many Star Wars TV shows, and I think, you gotta hold on the brakes. But I know there's so many different ways to incorporate the Star Wars everything, but I think they need to like hold it off for a little bit, with the television and maybe focus on making a good movie and just let Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling do their thing a little bit. They already got the Mandalorian movie that they're working on. So I think if they focus on those two projects, then they'll be fine.
And I do agree too with the because remember when the Disney trilogy came out, we had a Star Wars movie every year from till 2019 because we had Force Awakens, Rogue One, um,
Mm-hmm.
The Last Jedi, Solo, and then Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that was a lot and
That was
a lot
five
of
movies in 4 years.
And that was a lot. And you either liked it or was like, oh God, this was a waste of legacy and trash.
I like
It,
Rogue One. I think that's the
yeah,
best
Rogue
one.
One I'll give a pass on, as I, think about it and as I got older, with understanding the Star Wars and everything, that stuff, like everything after everything from Rogue One, it just went downhill. So at least
Yeah.
going to the theaters to see all that kind of stuff.
No, I agree.
Alrighty, so you ready to hear my news real quick?
Yes, you go ahead. What's your news?
All right, my piece of news is that Lindsay Lohan is set to star in her first TV series, which I'm excited about. She's
Wait,
teaming up.
she's never been in a TV series before?
No, it says right here in the
Wow.
Deadline article, in her first TV series starring role, Lindsay Lohan is set to headline and executive produce Count My Lies, a new drama coming to Hulu. And it's coming from the producers from This Is Us. So I'm excited. I haven't seen Lindsay Lohan. I know she's been in like guest starring on TV shows, but nothing that's like headline or it's like starring Lindsay Lohan, because I think from what I recall, like when I used to watch whatchamacallit, Ugly Betty growing up, I
Hmm.
think she had a guest starring role from what I recall. I'm pulling that up. Yeah. Was it Ugly Betty? I thought it was Ugly Betty. Yes, she appeared on 4 episodes on Ugly Betty. She was like on that 70s show. She was obviously appeared on Saturday Night Live. Uh, she showed up as herself on TV series like Project Runway, uh,
That's a throwback.
Double Exposure. She was on MTV Diary, Punked.
But
But
I'm surprised she's never been in
oh,
like, okay.
Glee.
That's what
I
everyone,
think she played herself though, but that was like a comedy role. Like she's done like a lot of TV movies too growing up, if you remember like Life Size and Get a Clue.
yeah, and I'm just
Oh,
shocked.
and Liz and Dick. Remember that one? That Lifetime movie that was awful.
No.
Mm,
I just think
it's
it's
not
like,
good.
I'm surprised she's never done like, I thought like she at least did one like TV project. I know I would think of maybe like, oh yeah, she's a Disney kid because she did Freaky Friday, The Parent Trap and Herbie Fully Loaded. I'm like, I'm surprised they never like, hey Lindsay, here's a show. Maybe they're like, you're too expensive for a show back in the day because you were very a hot commodity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through it now. Nothing like a lot of the reality stuff because I forgot. And in 2019, Lindsay Lohan did a reality show called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club, which I forgot about. I forgot that was a thing.
Hmm.
Um, but she's done a lot of stuff like in TV, but like one where she's like an executive producer and working with a good team, like I'm excited for this. And it's based on a book by Sophia Stava.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to get the book because I'm already in the process of reading Regretting You, which is the Colleen Hoover book.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to pick this one up next now because I'm gonna want to see how it turns out. So, but let me see if I can pull up anything about the book. All right, here's what the TV show is gonna be about. In Count My Lies, written by Abtaker. This is Isaac Abtaker and Elizabeth Berger, the producers of This Is Us, who are going to be working on the series with Lindsay Lohan. When a compulsive liar, Salone, fibs her way into a nanny position for the gorgeous and charismatic Violet and Jay Lockhart, it seems she's finally landed her dream job. But a little does Salone know, she just entered into a household brimming with secrets that are about to explode with potentially catastrophic consequences.
Mhm.
So, right up Hulu's alley, because I'm also in the process of watching that drama series, American Family, Good American Family, the one
Mhm.
with Ellen Pompeo. So they're really into the drama shows. So I'm gonna definitely be watching. I will have a seat on my couch, and I'm curious to see how it's gonna turn out. And I'm excited for Lindsay Lohan. She's really rebranded herself as an actress, and she's so likable now where you watch her on TV or you look at her on social media. She has really made a lot of changes in herself, and whatever she's doing, I actually like watching, including the Christmas movies that she has on Netflix. Are they good? No, but they're still, I like to watch her. What do you think, Mac? Are you gonna watch Lindsay Lohan?
I'm not really big into those Hulu shows, if I'm being honest with you, but um, I mean, yeah, I'm not really. I'll probably like look it up and just read reviews of it, see clips if it catches my eye.
Yeah, but on a different note, are you excited to see her in Freaky Friday?
No, I'm. Why are we doing another Freaky Friday?
Freakier
I
Friday.
don't know. We should not have a sequel. We already had the first one, which was fine. Then
I
we
grew
had
up with
that
that movie.
we had the terrible reimagining musical on Disney that I watched. I remember it was like it's a new Freaky Friday, but it's a musical, and it's like what? And I'm just like,
Nobody asked for that one.
I'm just like, I don't know. Like maybe it'll be fine. I love Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay, she's cleaned up over the years and she's doing really well now. I'm happy for her. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this is a nostalgic cash grab and I don't know. Like I'll watch it. Is it gonna be on Disney Plus or in theaters?
It's gonna be both. Like,
I'll,
but like, you see it in theaters and then it'll end up on Disney Plus. I'm going to theaters to see it because
I
I
don't
just need
think
to see it.
I don't think this is a movie I'd see in theaters. Like this is the same thing if Artemis Fowl was in theaters. I would have not watched it in theaters if you told
Oh
me.
no,
Would have waited
I
to
wouldn't
Disney
have watched
Plus.
Artemis Fowl in theaters. Nobody would have gone to see Artemis Fowl in theaters. Fowl, I like to
Five,
say.
4 years later, that's no. When did that movie come out? 2020 or 2020?
5.
2025? Damn, that's been on running joke for 5 years. Artemis Fowl. Good lord.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see how it is. Has the trailer dropped for it, right?
Yeah, but I'm not really crazy for it, but I like the poster. I like
I
a
don't
little
know.
like acknowledgement to the first movie, but
The kids that were young enough
eh,
now they're adults,
eh.
so nostalgia. So we'll see how it does.
Well, Chen Michael Murray's returning to the movie with Lindsay Lohan, so I hope good things comes from it. But whatever, it'll be a nostalgia bait, but I'll be watching. Alright, he's ready. Are you ready to talk today's movie?
Yes, let us move into the topic of sneaks.
I've got a brother to find and a game to play.
This is amazing! Here comes the drop!
Do you trust me?
0.0%! Yeah! Sneaks don't talk round here. We converse.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the topic today, given it to us early by Briarcliff Entertainment. Big thanks to them for sharing this movie with us. We're going over the
Yes.
new animated sports comedy film Sneaks, directed by Rob Edwards and Chris Jenkins. It stars, now get ready for this, Anthony Mackie, Martin Lawrence, Sway Lee, Chloe Bailey, Macy Gray, Ela Mai, Mustard, Roddy Rich, Quavo, Young Miko, Amira Hall, Kiana Leedy, Babito Garcia, Sam J, Sky Brown, Rasa Leal, Rico Rodriguez, Keith David, Chris Paul, and Lawrence Fishburne.
All I have to say is,
But
I love that. I love it so much. You gotta include that in the episode.
but the plot of Sneak follows Ty, voiced by Anthony Mackie, who is a designer sneaker called the Alchemy 24s. When him and his sister, played by Chloe Bailey, aka Maxine, they get shoe napped, and he has to go find her with the help of Martin Lawrence's character JB, who is a black shoe. So, like I mentioned, we got this
Shoe napped. I liked how you incorporated that.
So we got like I mentioned, we got an early screener from Briarcliff Entertainment. Big thanks.
Yes, thank you to our new friends at Briarcliff Entertainment.
Yeah, we got to watch this early. This comes out in theaters at the time of this recording, April 18th.
Yes.
And I remember I saw this trailer and I told you, I was like, man, that looks interesting. Like Anthony Mackie and Martin Lawrence's shoes, and like a lot just like going on. So you watched,
there's a lot going on with this movie, to be fair.
You watched it and then I watched it. I watched it and I was texting you. I said, man, this is a very ambitious animated film. And you responded back. What did you say back?
I really didn't like it that much. I mean, to be fair,
Okay.
I like the work of Rob Edwards. He's somebody who's worked on, a wide variety of different things. One of them being Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, I love one of my favorite Disney movies.
He's worked on Treasure Planet. Some good stuff. But with this, I was like, this is an interesting thing to see him work on. And Chris Jenkins, who's worked on a ton of other animated films from Surf's Up, Home, he's a producer. So I think this is, I was going to say feature film director debut, but it's not. He made his 2018 debut with Duck Duck Goose, but has worked on a whole other films, including Hercules, which is one of my faves.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of Disney films. Like I'm reviewing it now, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like a lot of good stuff, like stuff I grew up watching. So seeing this, the animation, like when we were texting, going back and forth, you said the animation was, you said the people looked wonky, right? Because that was the thing that I did not like. The animated style for the people. That's one thing I didn't like. I mean, the sneakers in the film, they look cute. It's like, it's their own style. They incorporated like this, this feel incorporates hip hop. And I like it. Like, I think it's very eye-catching, very appealing. But I don't like the way they animated, like, our main character, who is voiced by Sway Lee. Like, I don't like
the main character, that's Anthony Mackie.
No, the kid.
Oh, the kid. Oh, I didn't know that was
the
him.
one who picks up the
Edson. Edson, yeah, Edson, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Edson. Yeah, Sway Lee does the voice for the kid. So, I just was like, why do they look like that? Like, I want to know what their idea was to make them look like that. Cause they're like either really, really like skinny, or they're just like not the way I guess people would look. I
think they wanted to try a very wacky style.
They did.
But the problem with the visuals, because I said this in my review, the sneakers are very expressive, and I think that's where the animation shines, is showing them interact with like the eyes and then their mouth, and then they use the shoelaces as their arms, and they have fun with anatomy. They get expressive with the sneakers. For the humans, I think they're trying to go for that Turning Red Pixar style, and it just doesn't work because it feels very wonky when the human. So it's like a hard cut. We see like, oh, this is some smooth animation on the sneakers. Like it's obviously that they wanted to animate the sneakers first. Like this wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to do this film entirely from the perspective of the sneakers and
Yeah,
kind
and
of put
I
the
feel like they should have had. I think that would have been interesting, but then it compares it to Toy Story a lot, which I did text you about when we were going over this. And I was like, this is kind of like Toy Story. But go ahead, finish what you were saying.
it's like they wanted to like, okay, we have this idea, we want sneakers, these sentient sneakers to go on an adventure, but like we can't have sneakers just walking around on their own, so they need the humans. They're like, we didn't really go into design what the humans would look like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like, let's just do like a cartoon style. So obviously this is an animated film, but the problem with this is kind of like, because I read some comments when I went to back to the original trailer, there were people who thought this was a Pixar movie.
Really? It's
Yeah,
not, folks.
there were people who legitimately thought this was a Pixar movie. Like, no, that it's not.
Did not like the way they looked. Would I have chosen that style? No, but I think you're right. What you're saying about the sneakers, their focus was on the sneakers, and the film's focus is the sneakers. So at least they did good on their part with illustrating the sneakers because I like the design of the sneakers that we see that Mackie and Chloe give the voices to. You know, they're like
Mhm.
a white and gold pair. They're like a luxury sports sneaker. Like I don't know my sports sneakers, but they you could clearly tell. I know
They're
nothing.
obviously basketball shoes,
Yeah,
but
they're basketball shoes.
not made to be worn, in my opinion.
Yes, not made to be worn. They're collectors, you want to put
Yes.
on display. But no, they or one part of the sneaker is like, "Oh, I want to play." And the other one's like, "No, I got to be on display." But then they realize we're meant to be on the court with our
Person.
friend, our person.
Our person. We're supposed to be soulmates.
Yes, soulmates. Yeah.
There's a lot of shoe puns in this. The thing I told you too, like the beginning, like montage with the graffiti artist, that was some great animation. I thought, oh, is it gonna be in this style? Like it looks like Spider-Verse. Like it looked really good. Like introducing everyone to
I
the film. I
think
was like, I
somebody
thought,
said that like in a comment or something. Like somebody acknowledged how that kind of looked like Spider-Verse vibes.
yeah, like I thought it was gonna be anime like that. And if that was the case, I'm like, oh, I like this. But then in hard cut, I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, it turns into a different like a beat. Like, huh?
But besides that, the film to me, it's a fun film where it's not going to reinvent the wheel. I broke it down where it's like the problem with this film, I feel, is that we focus there. Like I mentioned the cast and all those names. There are way too many characters in this
Yes.
film. Like
Oh my God, way too
we
many.
like even not even like the humans. It's not even a film where it's like, oh, you focus more on the humans more than you do on the sneakers. The sneakers actually take like 90% of the film, which I do
Yes.
like because it does lead to interesting, comedy and chemistry and stuff like that. But there are way too many characters because we're following Edson, the human character. We're following Ty, who is Anthony Mackie. Then we're following Martin Lawrence with him, and then we follow the sister. Then we follow Lawrence Fishburne's character, the
We
collector.
also have the narrators who
Oh
I
yeah,
thought were so pointless. I was like, why are
so
we
yeah,
here with them? They
so
don't need to tell the story.
so the film has a fourth wall narrators. There's three shoes, I believe. Let me see who they are. One of them is, I believe, who are the narrators? Actually, that's a good question.
There was like three little sneakers that are like on the wire. I didn't get who was playing them, but I
Oh,
just thought,
I think I found them. I could be wrong, but it's Quavo,
oh, play vote.
um, Donovan Lewis,
Okay.
and I don't know who the third one was, but
Okay.
yeah, those are the people in from the beginning of the film. They're like, hey, we got a story, and they just pop up on any power line to say what happens. They're like, whoa, are you serious? Like that's happening? Whoa. And it's like, oh my god.
It's the unnecessary dialogue that they just threw in there.
I
And
had
I just was like, we can cut this. Like, this would save some time and at least a child's interest because this is definitely geared towards children. I don't see people like our age interested in this movie. Like, kids are not going to be as invested with all these characters, I think. I think if they just literally focused on Anthony Mackie and Chloe's, characters, and then Martin Lawrence following, Anthony Mackie along the way, I think it would have been fine. But, all this stuff, all the subplots, it's gonna be it's a lot for a child to handle, I think, at least for me. And children are smart; they will pick up on certain things, but I don't think that would interest them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the thing is like it's weird because it reminded me of one of my favorite anime movies, Book of Life. How it would have the story time with all the kids in the museum,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
cutting to
Yeah.
the story of actually what's going on. And like whenever they cut to the wire, she was like, oh yeah, I forgot this is. And it reminded me of the 2021 Tom and Jerry movie, how the pigeons were kind of the narrators and singers too.
Oh, right,
I
right,
was
right,
like,
right, right, right.
I don't know why this was necessary. I think I told you this is a adult movie disguised as a kids movie because there are a lot of adult jokes in this film.
Yeah, they're hiding that in there.
But I think with all these characters, it makes the story very kind of forgettable because
Yeah.
it sets up things where it's like, oh, the Ty and Maxine get kidnapped by the collector. He's like the shoe guy, but he works for someone else named the Forger. Where
Yeah,
he,
that character sucked too. Like,
he
I did not like the Forger. I didn't like the Collector. I mean, voiced by wonderful people, but I was like
or like
I was like, oh, I don't want to
is
watch
like he
this
cuts up shoes
anymore.
and forges them and everything, and then it turns out that the collector was a basketball player, and Martin Lawrence was part of a shoe, and that's why there's so many subplots because I'd say probably the main plot is Ty trying to find his sister Maxine after they're kidnapped, and then we have Edson who's going to be playing on the Midnight Madness game, and he wants the new shoes. They have the collector trying to find the shoes, and the forger wants it. Then Martin Lawrence is like, "Well, hey kid, I want your gemstones, but you're pretty cool, so I don't want to take your stuff anymore." So it's just too many things going on. I'm like, there's a lack of focus.
Yeah, that's where kids are really just gonna like not be interested. There's so much going on, and they're gonna lose track. They're not gonna be interested, knowing with everything going on. I think most kids will be interested to see the sneaker stuff, but everything else, with the talking sneaker part, even though that's 90% of the movie, but the
We'll
part with
say,
Anthony Mackie, I
we'll
mean,
we'll say too, product placement out of the wazoo. There is so much product placement in this movie because you see the Nike logos, you see the Adidas logos, you're seeing some. There's a lot of logos in this film, like a lot of product placement.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
I don't know. I was just like, Jesus, y'all. Like I know we got bills to pay, but um
Yeah, there was a lot of Nike. I noticed a lot of Nike. I was like,
probably some money Nike threw their way to make this film. Which is great
yeah,
because you mentioned Disney and how Rob Edwards worked on Princess and the Frog. Looking at the production is that Teddy Newton was originally going to do this movie.
okay, yeah.
And if you don't know who Teddy Newton is, he's a longtime Pixar employee. He's been a character designer on The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Presto, The Iron Giant. He's done voice acting in like The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Toy Story 3. He was in Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation. Um, he's also been a storyboard artist, and one of them is The Iron Giant. Do you want to take a guess on two shows that he was a storyboard artist for?
Were they shows in the 90s or 2000s?
90s.
Ooh, there's a lot of 90s Disney shows, at least I'm thinking of.
These aren't Disney's actually. These are Hanna-Barbera and Cartoon
Oh,
Network.
Hanna-Barbera? Ooh, see, this is like where I would struggle.
So
Powerpuff Girls?
no, it's Two Stupid Dogs and Dexter's Lab.
Oh, Dexter.
So that's pretty cool. And he dropped out, but um they got Rob Edwards and
Which,
Chris Jenkins to
yeah.
do it. So like I said, good credentials is just, I think that this is a film where it will have an audience because it does. I feel like this film's a love letter to the sneakerhead culture because that is a very big culture in the world right now. People
Hmm.
collecting shoes. There's a lot of jokes when it comes to like collectings and everything. And I think and I will say, soundtrack in this film, I thought it was cool. I
I thought
think
it
that
was good, but not memorable, but it was good. And Mustard worked on it, so And he's the biggest thing, one of the biggest things right now, knowing with him and Kendrick. I mean, I think it was good, you know? I
Yeah, and
think this gives him a platform to uh give him practice. I will say, since the scoring and the music style was good, I think this is going to, say, hey, this was on my resume. This is my, I've done this. This gives him more recognition to work on other films, because I could see him working on other bigger films, kind of like what John Baptiste does and like all the other like musical artists who,
Junkie
put out
XL.
records, yeah. So I could see him in this realm, I think he was I think he was a good fit, even though I didn't love it. I thought it was good.
I think it worked for this film. Like if it was anything else, it would have been like, well, because it's a combination of both original music and then some remix, kind of like hip hop, like the ending song "Ballin'" by Roddy Ricch, who
Yeah.
was the Forger. They remixed it to say, sneaks, and the main theme was kind of catchy. It's like sneaks, sneaks, whatever. I forgot how it went, but it was catchy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
But I do want to acknowledge how, I was commenting how this is very similar to like Toy Story.
yep,
It kind of is where we have the animated talking objects because like I wrote down in my notes, talking objects like what you would see in Beauty and the Beast. But they in Beauty and the Beast, they get transformed back into human, but the talking objects, like especially in Toy Story, like they looked at some of the great elements in Toy Story and put them here, including how when humans would walk into the room and in Toy Story the toys would have to freeze and it'd be like Andy's coming and they have to freeze and stop.
yeah. That they didn't explain that. Are they sentient in this world? Like,
No, they don't know because that's what I picked up on. They don't know these sneakers talk or move around.
yeah,
But
because
then
they
I would
obviously,
raise suspicion because sneakers are obviously bigger than a toy.
yeah,
They're like
there's scenes where the sneakers do move around,
a
and you're like,
lot,
and
like
you're like,
a lot.
does anyone know like if that's legit?
Yeah, especially how like they would end up like in like a garbage disposal, let's say, like where the laces are hanging out, and you're like, oh, how did they get in there? They
Yeah.
obviously, I didn't put them there. They popped themselves into that, you
Mhm.
know, that's like a thing. So I was just like, why isn't anybody picking up on this? That was a thing, but whatever. It's a kids movie. It's fine, but it's not a bad movie. But I do think if they rearrange some stuff around, cut down on some characters, and kind of made the humans more presentable, looking a little bit, appealing, then I think it would have been fine.
Yeah, I think
I
that
should say visually appealing for the humans.
I feel like it's gonna have a theater run, but then I think it'll probably do well when it hits streaming.
Oh yeah, I see this going well, like on like let's say like a Netflix or something. I do think because Netflix is the place to go
I
with a lot
agree.
of these animated films.
This will probably be number one if it goes to Netflix.
Mm-hmm. I
But
have a feeling
what's your final grade for Sneaks?
somewhere around. Let's see. Like it's not a bad film, but it's not a great film either. Like I don't have it in me to give it like a B. Like it's just to me it's C worthy material.
See, I gave it a B minus because I think there's some charm in it. It's like you mentioned, it's not terrible, it's not perfect, but I still think there's a slight bit of fun because it's talking sneakers. And I think that's just funny to me. And the fact that you have all these big names in this film as talking sneakers, and like hearing Macy's Gray's voice coming out of a heel just
That
made
was
me
so
laugh.
odd.
I
I
was
was like,
I
wait,
was
wait. I
like
was like sitting there. I was like, is that Nancy Gray?
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray, excuse me. And I'm like, I love her in that Ariana Grande song.
Mhm.
If you know that song, you know.
Well, I
But
love Macy Gray. She's a legend. But seeing her coming in, and then hearing Keith Davidson, oh not Keith David as a Converse shoe was just like, oh, okay, that's I guess all
I was
right.
just not expecting Chloe, to be in this movie after, her run in The Little Mermaid.
Well, things happen. But anyway, make sure you check out Sneaks. It'll be in theaters on April 18th. So check your local listings. We will link the trailer down below. And once again, special thanks to Briarcliff Entertainment for sending us a screener link. We really appreciate it. But I think that's going to wrap up the show today. Kristen, is there anything you want to add on before we sign off? What do we got coming up for upcoming episodes?
Yes, one movie we are going to be talking about is Thunderbolts. Yes,
Asterisk Thunderbolts. Don't forget the asterisk.
Yes, the asterisk Thunderbolts.
That important asterisk. What does it mean?
What does it mean? We'll find out when we see the movie. Yeah, Thunderbolts. Asterisk Thunderbolts is coming out. We're going to do a review on that. We still have our David Lynch dedication episode we are going to be working on. We're going to review Blue Velvet, and then we have some other episode ideas in the works. So for now, please be sure to follow us here and on all of our social media pages. Who knows, we might get more fun screeners like this where we get to talk about them. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying it lately, Mag. You know, between Amanda Seyfried and now an Anthony Mackie movie, this is going pretty good, you know?
Yeah, and you'll know which screeners we may get if you subscribe to our Patreon. If you join our Patreon today, you get early access news until our new episodes and behind the scenes as well, too. It's 7-day free trial, and then it's $1.50 a month. Give us some support. It helps out to the bigger goal. We're trying to get the Cannes Film Festival, or at least Venice. But we'll start with the Toronto International Film Festival.
We'll get there.
Well, special thanks to our patrons on as well too. But yeah, we got great episodes coming up. We are really excited. But until next time, I've been Mac. This has been Kristen, and you've been listening to the M&K Productions Podcast. Peace.
Bye.